Hi friends, my name's Jordan and you're watching Criminal Crafting.
Trying to find some balance in my life. I never really put up a fight.
Hi everyone, if you are new here and watching my video, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch my video. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. It means the world to me. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, click it now. You'll get notified every time that I post a new video. Here we talk about all things true crime, court cases, crime cases, missing persons, you name it, we talk about it. We also craft, but we are working on figuring out maybe another channel for the crafting, just so we can keep all the crime on one and the crafting on another channel. But we will let you know as soon as we figure that out. You guys, today we're talking about the Gabby Petito case and the Laundrie case. And I know there's been so much that's gone on lately. I've made a lot of these videos lately. I planned on making a full video explaining the whole case, and so much has continued to happen. So, thank you for being patient with me. Yesterday was such a crazy day in the crime community. There was updates on the Summer Wells case. There was update on the Laundrie's case. There was updates on the Dylan Rounds case. Doug Live, all the stuff that happened with him. I mean, it was just a crazy day full of news. So I'm trying to get as many of my videos recorded so I can get them up quick. Today's video is about the Gabby Petito case and the Laundrie case and what happened with the court case. So we're going to start with reading the judge's statements and what he said in the case. So if you guys haven't heard, the Laundries and the Petitos went to court because the Laundries were trying to dismiss the civil case. The Petitos won that case. Doesn't mean it's over. From what I've heard, there could be several other dismissals that can come. So it's far from over for the Petito family in terms of dismissals and whether it's going to go to a civil case with a jury. But you guys, I'm really hopeful that they do get to go to trial, that they get a fair shot at being able to have a jury trial. So he said, in July 2020, Brian and Gabby became engaged to each other. The following year, in July 2021, Brian and Gabby left New York in Gabby's van, headed west for a van life trip that was to last several months. Gabby intended on documenting her trip and publishing her journey on various social media sites to establish herself as a travel influencer. Gabby regularly called her family while on the trip. Gabby's last communication with her father occurred on August 21st, 2021. Gabby's last communication with her mother occurred on August 27th, 2021. Brian murdered Gabby on August 27th of 2021. Brian then texted between his and Gabby's telephone to hide the fact that Gabby was dead. Brian would continue to send texts from Gabby's phone until at least August 30th of 2021, in which Brian, disguised as Gabby, texted Gabby's mother stating there was no service in Yosemite Park. Brian did this to suggest that Gabby was still alive. Gabby was 22 years old at the time of her death. On August 28, 2021, Brian told his parents that he had murdered Gabby. The court must assume this to be true for this motion. That same day, Christopher and Roberta spoke with an attorney, and they would send the attorney a money retainer several days later. And you guys, this is 8 pages long, so I'm not reading the full 8 pages. I'm just reading a little context prior and then what the judge said. On September 1st, 2021, Brian returned to his parents' home in Northport, Florida, driving Gabby's van. Brian and his parents then vacationed together at Fort DeSoto on September 6th through the 7th of 2021. They took this vacation each knowing that Gabby was dead and that her parents were frantically looking for her. On or about September 10th, 2021, Roberta blocked Nicole on Roberta's cell phone and Facebook. On September 14th, and fully knowing that Gabby was dead and knowing the general whereabouts of Gabby's body, the Laundrie's attorney released the following statement. It is our understanding that a search has been organized for Miss Petito in or near Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. On behalf of the Laundrie family, it is our hope that the search for Miss Petito is successful and that Miss Petito is reunited with her family. And we all know how I feel about that. On September 16th, 2021, the attorney for Gabby's family issued a letter to Christopher and Roberta which provided, "We are writing this letter to ask you to help our beautiful daughter. We understand you are going through a difficult time, and your instinct to protect your son is strong. We ask you to put yourselves in our shoes. We haven't been able to sleep or eat, and our lives are falling apart. We believe you know the location of where Brian left Gabby. We beg you to tell us. As a parent, how could you let us go through this pain and not help us? As a parent, how can you put Gabby's younger brothers and sisters through this? Gabby lived with you for over a year. She was going to be your daughter-in-law. How can you keep her location hidden? You were both at Jim and Nicole's house. You both were so happy that Brian and Gabby got engaged and were planning to spend their lives together. Please, if you or your family have any decency left, please tell us where Gabby is located. Tell us if we are even looking in the right place. All we want is Gabby to come home. Please help us make this happen." Christopher and Roberta declined to respond to either Joseph or Nicole, instructing all communications be made through their attorney. The attorney would issue no comment when asked about Gabby. They did this knowing of Joseph and Nicole's mental suffering, and by advising where Gabby was, they could prevent such additional mental suffering and anguish of remains of Gabby. Yet they repeatedly refused to do so. And culprit, continuing, Joseph and Nicole further alleged that Christopher and Roberta acted with malice or great indifference to the rights of Joseph and Nicole. So now it gets to the judge's analysis. He said plaintiffs sued the Laundries for intentional infliction of emotional distress. Florida recognizes that tort stuff. The question for today is whether plaintiffs stated causes of action for that tort. 1. A note about legal duty. Laying aside for the moment the statement the Laundries made through their attorney, the other conduct plaintiffs complain of mostly involves the Laundries failing to act. Specifically, plaintiffs seek to fault the Laundries for not telling the plaintiffs that Gabby was dead or where her body was located. The Laundries frame their silence in constitutional terms, arguing that their silence was constitutionally permissible under the First, Fifth, and Sixth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution and the related Florida Constitution provisions. The court does not believe it is necessary or appropriate in this case to resolve these constitutional claims on a motion to dismiss. The contours of the facts are not sufficiently distilled to apply those important guarantees. Those claims are more appropriately addressed if at all, at the summary judgment stage. Plaintiffs, so that's, from what I've heard, that section is what they will then try and dismiss the case. From what I've heard from some of the lawyer videos that I've watched, they would argue their right to remain silent. Plaintiffs, during oral argument, candidly concealed they struggled with the legal duty owed by the Laundries to them that would have required the Laundries to break their silence. Plaintiffs appear to conflate morality with legal duty. Plaintiffs have not identified, and the court is unaware of any legal duty the Laundries would have owed to the plaintiffs to tell the plaintiffs that Gabby was dead or the location of her body. Further, the plaintiffs point to no duty that the Laundries were under to accept text or social media messages from the plaintiffs or refrain from taking a vacation while the plaintiffs searched for Gabby. If the facts of this case truly were about silence, with no affirmative act by the Laundries, the court would have resolved this case in the Laundries' favor on the concept of legal duty, or more precisely, the lack of any legal duty for the Laundries to act. Had the Laundries truly stayed silent, the court would have granted the motion to dismiss in the Laundries' favor, but they did not stay silent. So he's essentially saying, because they made a statement through their lawyer that said that they were searching in the area where Gabby was, and on behalf of the family, they hoped that Gabby was reunited with her family. They therefore did not stay silent. So had they not made that statement, the judge would have dismissed the motion. So Bertolino screwed up, in my opinion. 2, the Laundries spoke. The Laundries attorney released a statement that plaintiffs argue was outrageous under the facts of this case. Plaintiffs sufficiently alleged that the Laundries spoke. Christopher Laundrie and Roberta Laundrie, through their lawyer, issued the following statement. At oral argument, the Laundries contended there was no allegations in the amended complaint that their attorney knew that Gabby was dead or the whereabouts of her body when he released the Laundrie statement. That position is meritless for at least 3 reasons. First, generally an attorney serves as agent for his client. We learned that in the Johnny Depp case. The attorney's acts are the acts of the principal, the client. Second, all facts and reasonable interferences are construed in favor of the non-movement, here the plaintiffs. A reasonable inference is that the attorney knew the same information the Laundries knew. Third, the words used in the Laundrie family, it is our hope. Certainly, there is no allegation in the amended complaint that the Laundries disavowed the statement. For purposes of the motion to dismiss, the court must assume that the Laundries are responsible for authoring the September 14th, 2021 statement issued by their attorney. So because Bertolino said through the family they are making this statement, it therefore was the family's statement. The family made the statement. Regardless of whether Bertolino was the one that put it out, he put per the family. 3, the statement. The Laundries contend that their statement is not outrageous as a matter of law. At oral argument, that they suggested it merely was a plain statement. Plaintiffs, in contrast, countered during oral argument that the statement knowingly was false, designed to create false hope, and issued by the Laundries, who knew Gabby was dead and where her body was located. The elements of the intentional infliction of emotional distress, tort, and the contours of that tort have been described by the 2nd District Court of Appeal as follows. To state a cause of action for intentional infliction of emotional distress, a complaint must allege 4 elements. 1. Deliberate or reckless infliction of mental suffering. 2. Outrageous conduct. 3. The conduct caused the emotional distress. And 4. The distress was severe. Behavior claimed to constitute the intentional infliction of emotional distress must be so outrageous in character and so extreme in degree as to go beyond all possible bounds of decency. In applying that standard, the subjective response of the person who is the target of the actor's conduct does not control the question of whether the tort of intentional infliction of emotional distress occurred. Rather, the court must evaluate the conduct as objectively as is possible to determine whether it is atrocious and utterly intolerable in a civilized community. Whether conduct is outrageous enough to support a claim of intentional infliction of emotional distress is a question of law, not a question of act. He said the words used by the Laundries on the surface initially do not suggest outrage. On behalf of the Laundrie family, it is our hope that the search for Miss Petito is successful and that Miss Petito is reunited with her family. When juxtaposed with the other conduct in the case, though, the outrageous threshold is surpassed. As allegedly by the plaintiffs, the Laundries made their statement knowing that Gabby was dead, knowing the location of her body, and knowing that her parents were frantically looking for her. If this is true, then the Laundrie's statement was particularly callous and cruel, and it is sufficiently outrageous to state claims for intentional infliction of emotional distress. 4. There will be no avalanche of litigation. The Laundries argue that denying their motion to dismiss will result in an avalanche of litigation for situations where relatives of tort victims receive bad news about family members. Part of 3 and the rest of 4 was talking about different court cases that they presented in the trial, in the dismissal, and he just goes over the things that were outrageous and the things that could cause an avalanche of litigation, which was their argument. And number 5 says, a parting thought. The court is aware the Laundries have made additional arguments in their filings and at oral argument to support their motion. The court need not detail those except to say none are sufficient to preclude the court at the motion to dismiss stage from concluding that the amended complaint states causes of action for intentional infliction of emotional distress. The Laundrie's motion to dismiss is due to be denied. Yes, thank you. It's denied. It is therefore ordered. 1. Defendant's motion to dismiss the amended complaint is denied. 2. Defendant Christopher Laundrie and Defendant Roberta Laundrie shall answer the amended complaint on or before July 15th, 2022. So it sounds like they have until then to come back with any dismissals or all of those things. So essentially he's saying the dismissal was denied based on their statement. Their statement that they made was outrageous and cruel, like he said. To know where their daughter was, to block them on everything, to stay silent, and then make that post was cruel because they gave them the hope that she would be reunited with her family when they knew full and well that that was not going to be the case. Bertolino has since come out and made a statement, and he said that the Laundries would be fighting the dismissal. The judge said the Laundries had the right to remain silent, But the Laundries did not stay silent. That is the key thing in all of this. Their whole argument was they had the right to remain silent. And they did. Do I feel like it was the right decision? Not so much. But they did have the right to remain silent. They did not remain silent. That is the problem. One of the things that I wonder is if the Laundries, if it does end up that all of the dismissals are denied and they do go to a jury trial, I wonder if at that point the Laundries will sit down with the Petitos and settle it all before it goes to trial. And why I say that is because I think they don't want to have to go through a trial. They don't want to have all the information out. And then it makes me wonder, then are we not going to find out all the information? If they do settle, can they be like, we'll settle for this much, but don't talk about these things, and won't let them release things that are going to make the Laundrie family look bad. All of their evidence that they say that they haven't released, will the Laundries make it so that they can't release it and we'll never know? I hope not, because I want to know. Selfishly, I want to know. The trial, if it happens, won't happen until August 23rd of 2023. So guys, we got a year before we'll hear anything. But I wanted to read a few statements that the Petitos have made. So Nicole, and I'll put it up here, Nicole tweeted, Nicole Schmidt, which is Gabby Petito's mom. She tweeted, "Fed up, hashtag narcissist, hashtag the truth will be revealed, I hope, hashtag selfish, hashtag we won't stop, hashtag justice for Gabby, hashtag keep going, hashtag cowards." Good for her! Especially after the statement that Bertolino made about her making tweets. She posted a picture and it said, "Narcissist rewrite history to escape accountability. You are not crazy." And that just made me go, they're rewriting history by putting out the Notebook that really doesn't make much sense, trying to make him seem like he was being merciful and trying to rewrite history of things that in the way that they want it to be told versus the way it actually happened. I loved her hashtags. I'll end with this and I'll put it up here so you guys can see it. This was the Petito statement, and they said, after they found out that they won the dismissal, "Joe Petito and Nicole Schmidt, the parents of Gabby Petito, are appreciative of the thorough and well-reasoned decision of Judge Hunter W. Carroll, which denied the motion of Christopher Laundrie and Roberta Laundrie to dismiss the complaint filed against them. This gives them an opportunity to proceed with their claim for the emotional distress caused by the conduct of the Laundries. Joe and Nicole look forward to discovering the information the Laundries knew about Gabby's death and her whereabouts, and in particular, getting a copy of any correspondence, emails, and texts exchanged during the difficult period when Gabby's whereabouts were unknown. They look forward to going to trial and are confident that ultimately the Laundries will be held accountable. At this time, Joe and Nicole do not wish to discuss this matter publicly and ask that you respect their privacy." So reading that, you guys, makes me feel like even if the Laundries tried to sit down and have some sort of settlement, I don't know that the Schmidts and the Petitos would actually do it. Because it sounds to me, they want to know everything. All the texts that Brian sent to Roberta and Christopher. All the emails. They want everything so they can put the full picture together. And, you know, I don't blame them. I really don't. The Laundries need to be accountable for the things that they did. I mean, they were investigated by the FBI, and that, according to Bertolino, allegedly, there were some touchy moments that the Laundries could have been in trouble. And you know, for me, I feel like the reason the Laundries have been silent, I know they were following Bertolino's advice, but I feel like the reason that they were silent is because they could have implicated themselves and been charged with things. So they were being silent so they didn't get in trouble for any part that they had in helping Brian afterwards. That is my own opinion, not professional opinion. That is truly what I think went down. And in that case, Bertolino is a good lawyer in making them not talk. You guys, what do you think about all this? What do you think about the dismissal? What do you think about the statements that have come out? I really hope it goes to jury trial. I want, selfishly, to hear everything. But comment what you think. Like my video, it really helps me out. And subscribe so you can get notified every time I post a video. It truly helps me when you guys subscribe. So thank you for watching, and until next time, let's see you later. Bye.
Trying to find some balance in my life. I never really put up a fight, and now I'm losing sleep.